Something just changed with your Social Security check, and most people haven't heard about it yet. The Social Security Administration has officially confirmed a major shift in the April 2026 payment schedule. And if you're counting on that deposit hitting your bank account on the date you've always expected, you could be caught completely off guard. This isn't rumor, this isn't speculation. The SSA has restructured disbursement dates based on your birth date and enrollment type, meaning millions of beneficiaries will see their payments arrive on entirely different days than usual. And it gets more specific. If you started receiving benefits before May 1997, your schedule looks completely different from those who enrolled after. On top of that, SSI recipients, SSDI recipients, and retirement benefit holders are each operating on separate timelines this April. Missing this information could mean delayed bill payments, overdraft fees, or worse, panic over a check that was never actually late. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what you're about to hear could save you a serious headache. So let's get right into it, because there is a lot to cover, and every single piece of this matters to you personally. The Social Security Administration operates on what most people think is a simple system. You get paid once a month, same time every month, and life goes on. But that's not actually how it works, and April 2026 is a perfect example of why assuming that can cost you. The SSA payment system is built around a tiered schedule, and that schedule shifts every single month depending on how the calendar falls. April 2026 has some very specific calendar dynamics that are pushing payment dates around in ways that are genuinely going to surprise a large portion of beneficiaries across the country. Let's start from the very beginning so that everyone watching is on the same page, whether you've been receiving benefits for 30 years or you just recently enrolled. The Social Security Administration divides beneficiaries into groups based on their date of birth. Specifically, it's the day of the month you were born that determines which Wednesday in April you receive your payment. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th of any month, you are in the first payment group. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, you are in the second payment group. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, you are in the third and final group. This has been the system for years, but what changes every month is which actual calendar date those Wednesdays land on. And in April 2026, those dates carry some important nuances you need to understand. Now, here's where it gets really important. For the first payment group, those born between the 1st and the 10th, your April 2026 payment is scheduled to arrive on Wednesday, April 9th. For the second group, those born between the 11th and the 20th, your payment is scheduled for Wednesday, April 16th. And for the third group, those born between the 21st and the 31st, your scheduled payment date is Wednesday, April 23rd. Write these dates down, put them in your phone, tell a family member, because knowing your exact date removes all the anxiety and confusion that comes when your deposit doesn't show up exactly when you expected it. But here is something that a very large number of people get wrong, and it causes real stress every single month. These are the dates the SSA processes and sends your payment. They are not always the exact date the money appears in your bank account. If you receive your benefits through direct deposit, most banks will post the funds on the same day or within one business day. But if you receive your payment on a direct express card or through a paper check, the timing can vary. Paper checks in particular can take several days to arrive through the mail after the payment date. So if you're still receiving a physical check in 2026, now is genuinely a great time to consider switching to direct deposit because it is faster, safer, and far more reliable. The SSA makes that process easy, and you can initiate it either online through your My Social Security account or by calling the SSA directly. Now let's talk about the group of people whose payment schedule looks completely different from everything we just discussed, because this is one of the most misunderstood parts of the entire Social Security system. If you began receiving Social Security benefits before May of 1997, your payment schedule does not follow the birth date tiered system at all. Instead, you receive your payment on the 3rd of every month, regardless of what day of the week that falls on. In April 2026, the 3rd is a Friday, which means this group will see their payment arrive on Friday, April 3rd. If that date lands on a weekend or a federal holiday in a different month, the SSA typically moves the payment to the business day immediately before that date not after. That's a critical detail because many people assume the payment gets pushed forward when it actually gets pulled back. This same early payment structure also applies to people who receive both Social Security retirement or disability benefits and supplemental security income simultaneously. If you are in that category, your Social Security portion generally follows the third of the month schedule, but your SSI payment has its own completely separate schedule that we're going to talk about right now. SSI, which stands for Supplemental Security Income, is a needs-based program, and it is entirely different from Social Security Retirement or SSDI in how it's funded and how it's paid out. SSI payments are issued on the first of each month. In April 2026, April 1st is a Tuesday, so SSI recipients should expect to see their payment on Tuesday, April 1st. There is no trick here. It does land on April Fool's Day, but the SSA takes no days off from paying people what they're owed, and that payment will process on schedule. However, and this is crucial, when the first of a month falls on a weekend or a federal holiday, SSI recipients get paid on the last business day of the previous month. That is not the case in April 2026, since the first falls on a regular Tuesday, but it's important knowledge to carry with you going forward because this catches people off guard repeatedly throughout the year. People see an unexpected deposit hit their account in late March or late December and genuinely don't know what it is, sometimes even reporting it as an error when it is completely intentional and correct. Now let's have a real conversation about what happens if your payment doesn't show up on the scheduled date. First, take a breath. The SSA has a very specific guideline on this. If you are signed up for direct deposit and your payment has not arrived within 3 business days after your scheduled payment date, that is when you should contact the SSA or your bank to investigate. For people receiving paper checks, the waiting period is longer. The SSA recommends waiting at least 30 days from the payment date before reporting a missing check, which is a frustrating reality for those who rely on that method, which is another reason why direct deposit is strongly encouraged. If your payment is late and you need to report it, you can call the Social Security Administration at 1-800-772-1213. They are available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time, and their representatives can look into your specific payment status. Let's also address something that has been causing confusion online and in communities all across the country. There have been various reports and social media posts suggesting that Social Security payments in 2026 are being cut, delayed permanently, or restructured in a way that would reduce benefits. Let's be absolutely clear about what is confirmed and what is noise. The payment schedule changes we are discussing today are calendar-based schedule adjustments. They are not cuts. They are not reductions in your monthly benefit amount. Your benefit amount is determined separately through a formula that includes your earnings history and the annual cost of living adjustment, which for 2026 was confirmed and applied at the start of the year. The schedule shifts we're covering are purely about which specific calendar date your existing payment arrives, not about whether you receive it or how much it is. Speaking of the cost of living adjustment, let's make sure everyone is clear on what that means for their April payment. The COLA for 2026 was applied beginning with January 2026 payments. So by April, you should already be seeing the adjusted amount in every deposit. If you noticed your payment amount changed between December 2025 and January 2026, and you weren't sure why, that COLA adjustment is the reason. The Social Security Administration sends out COLA notification letters every year, typically in December, that outline exactly what your new monthly benefit amount will be. If you didn't receive that letter or you've misplaced it, you can view your current benefit amount and payment history at any time by logging into your My Social Security account at SSA.gov. If you don't have an online account set up yet, it takes about 10 minutes to create one, and it gives you access to an enormous amount of personalized information about your benefits. Now, there's another topic that comes up constantly in conversations about Social Security, and that is the question of taxes. A lot of people are genuinely shocked to learn that Social Security benefits can be subject to federal income tax depending on your total income for the year. This is not new, but it's worth talking about because many people are still planning their budgets as though their full Social Security benefit is tax-free, and that can create serious problems come tax season. If your combined income, which includes your adjusted gross income, any non-taxable interest, and half of your Social Security benefits exceeds $25,000 for an individual or $32,000 for a married couple filing jointly, then a portion of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. Up to 50% of your benefits can become taxable above those thresholds, and up to 85% can be taxable if your income goes even higher. This is federal tax. Some states also tax Social Security benefits and some don't, so your state of residence matters here as well. The reason this comes up in a conversation about April 2026 payments is simple. April is tax season. Most people are filing their returns right around the same time their April Social Security payment is arriving, and understanding how your benefits interact with your overall tax picture is genuinely important financial information that affects how you manage that money. If you haven't already spoken with a tax professional or used a tax preparation service that is familiar with Social Security income, April is absolutely the right time to do that. Let's also talk about something that has become increasingly important, and that is protecting yourself from Social Security scams, because they are more sophisticated than ever in 2026, and they specifically target people who are actively looking for information about payment schedules and benefit changes. Scammers know that when there is news about Social Security schedule changes, people go searching for answers, and they set traps along the way. They create fake websites, they make phone calls claiming to be from the SSA, and they send emails or text messages saying your benefits are on hold or your account has been flagged. Here is what you need to know to protect yourself completely. The Social Security Administration will never call you and demand immediate payment. They will never threaten you with arrest or legal action over the phone. They will never ask you to pay using gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency. If you receive any contact like that, hang up immediately and report it to the SSA's Office of Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov or by calling 1-800-269-0271. And now let's bring everything together and talk about why staying informed about your Social Security benefits matters beyond just knowing when your payment arrives. The Social Security program is the financial foundation for tens of millions of Americans, and the decisions being made in Washington about this program's long-term funding have real consequences for every person receiving benefits today and every person planning to receive them in the future. Being engaged, being informed, and being your own advocate in understanding your benefits is one of the most powerful things you can do for your financial security. It's not about fear, it's about being prepared. The trustees of the Social Security program release an annual report every year that projects the long-term financial health of the Social Security trust funds. Recent projections have raised conversations about what happens to benefits in the coming decades if Congress does not act to shore up the program's funding. These are real conversations that are happening at the policy level, and while no changes to current benefits have been confirmed, it is absolutely worth staying aware of what is being discussed and what your elected representatives are saying about it. Your voice as a voter and as a constituent matters enormously in those conversations. So, as you head into April 2026, here is what you are walking away with from this video. You know your specific payment date based on your birth date range. You understand the different schedule that applies if you've been receiving benefits since before May 1997. You know when SSI payments are arriving and what happens when payment dates fall on holidays or weekends. You know how to check on a missing payment, how to protect yourself from scams, and how your benefits interact with your taxes. That is a complete, real, and actionable picture of what Social Security looks like for you this April. And that kind of informed clarity is exactly what you deserve when it comes to money you have earned and counted on. If this video gave you the clear answers you were looking for, please share it with someone else who needs to hear this. There are millions of people out there who are still confused about these dates and these rules, and sharing accurate information is one of the most genuinely helpful things one person can do for another. And if you have specific questions about your own situation, drop them in the comments below. We read every single one, and your question might just become the topic of our next video.